I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and I wanted to kind of give some context to the article that I wrote recently about 50 Cent, kind of calling out Floyd Mayweather for the fact that he can't read. And I thought that was really interesting because um, I have a lot of thoughts about these guys. First of all, I'm a black man. In case you haven't noticed, I've been a black man for a long time now. So whenever anything comes up that involves black men, I always have a special interest in that. Always have, always will. And the thing is that when I think about the guys that are involved in this, I think about three main characters: Floyd Mayweather, 50 Cent, and Charlamagne the God, who helped confirm 50 Cent's original, speculation that Floyd Mayweather can't read. So, in case you want to know what happened, Floyd. And 50 Cent used to be thick as thieves, and then they parted ways, and then 50 called out Floyd and offered him, I think, $750,000 to read a page of a Harry Potter book. And I guess he called him out because he knew the answer to the question. He knew that Floyd struggled when it came to reading. Well, Charlamagne the God, who's with the Breakfast Club, Power 105 in New York, he went and he listened to Floyd reading some of the drops for the radio station. In case you don't know, in a lot of radio stations, if you come through, they'll ask you to read something that says "I am so and so," and you're listening to Power 105.1. I think I did a drop with them. I don't know how much they use it. I know I did drops with like the Wendy Williams show when I was in New York a lot, and I know that I met Charlamagne through the Wendy Williams show, and I respect him a lot. I think he's very, very intelligent. And actually, when he left the Wendy Williams show, I think Wendy went to TV. Charlamagne, they let a lot of people go with BLS. So Charlamagne was in the South for a while, and he did a show. And I remember he would call me like once a week, and I would do something on his show every week. So we got a chance to know each other that way. Now he's doing extremely well with the Breakfast Club. I've only seen him maybe 2 or 3 times since he started with the Breakfast Club, but he's really got a knack for kind of knowing how to really make things work in radio. I think he learned a lot of that from Wendy Williams, who, believe it or not, was probably the best interviewer that I've ever worked with. I kid you not. I mean, at first I was a little nervous when I met her because I thought that Wendy was going to be hard on me because she's pretty hard on everybody, and I'm ready for that. I'm ready for a tough interview, but it's just kind of like you don't know what to expect. But I was on Wendy's show maybe 6 times, and every single time she was respectful, very intelligent, asked the right questions, had perfect timing. I was super impressed. And so Wendy and Charlamagne made a great team. Now Charlamagne's really doing his thing. Now here's the thing about Charlamagne that's interesting to me is that Charlamagne really, similar to Wendy, he kind of, he's able to do well by getting people to not like him, by saying those things that maybe some people are thinking, but no one else will say, or maybe sometimes just saying things that are just mean. Let's be real. Sometimes he just deliberately acts like an asshole, and I think he does that because he kind of knows how to push those buttons, right? And that gets ratings and it works in media, etc. 50 Cent, in my opinion, when my assessment of him is that this is a brilliant guy, an amazing artist who once had a lot of fame and popularity, who's made a ton of money, who's made some good business deals, who's very intelligent, but he's also very disturbed. He's also kind of, he seems to be working really hard to maintain his relevance and kind of seek out that attention that he used to get when he was the biggest thing in hip hop. But since then, I don't really understand exactly what he's doing. It seems like he's kind of doing a little bit of everything. I watched his new show on the Stars Network, which you may want to check out. It's actually really good. I think it's called Power or something like that, and it's a good show. But it was well done. I mean, I watched one of the free episodes that came up online, and I if it comes back on and I'm around, I'll watch it. I don't really watch TV like that. I watch Netflix and YouTube stuff. There's plenty there. I don't really need to, turn on the TV that much. But anyway, so here's where we're at. All right, so Floyd, 50 calls out Floyd, and Charlamagne confirms that 50's original proclamation that Floyd can't read very well. It's not that he's illiterate, but he did stumble quite a bit on his words. And at first I kind of felt that 50 Cent was being a little too harsh on Floyd, and I still do. I feel like when you see your brother struggling, you shouldn't ridicule him in that way. You should really try to help him. But at the same time, they're not friends. So what's fair? All's fair in love and war. They say that. And you've seen Floyd throw blows at other people. You've seen how he's gotten into it with T.I. You've seen Floyd say nasty things about people. And you've seen Floyd kind of engage in what I would call counterproductive black male coonery, which is, going out, holding up a fistful of money and throwing money in the air and stuff like that. And then I remember I was really offended when he made remarks about not feeling obligated to give back to anybody but himself. He said, I think he even said something like, my thinking is, well, what has Africa done for me? Why should I give to Africa? What's Africa done for me? And and honestly, what I really see there is a reflection of a lack of education. I mean, that's what happens when you give somebody a lot of money and a lot of power, but no education, no critical thinking skills, no sense of history, no development of their mind in a way that allows them to present themselves as an intelligent human being in our society. And I'm sorry, I mean, even 50 Cent can't, he can't pretend like he's an Einstein. I mean, he's a smart guy, but he can't pretend like he's super educated, because even when he made his challenge to Floyd Mayweather, there was some grammatical errors in his little tweet. I think he said, instead of accept the challenge, ACC, he said EXC. Accept the challenge. So somebody could call 50 Cent out. Somebody could probably call all of us out. I mean, I know I failed English class a lot of times in school. By the way, I was a terrible student in school. I mean, terrible. Not joking. I was terrible. I didn't become a good student until I got to college, because I had a daughter and I had to find a way to take care of my child. So anyway, so I guess it comes with the territory. But here's the thing. I think that we have to really look at this in a way that really helps us understand the culture that we're living in. The things that black men might commit to that they end up holding us back and keeping us from fulfilling our potential. We know that Charlamagne, Floyd, and 50 Cent are all brilliant men. That's why they're successful, because they are so smart. Floyd is able to throw punches 100 miles an hour because in his brain, his neurons are firing at a rate that is faster than any human being on the planet, at least when it comes down to that particular muscle reflex. You must give him credit for that. You must give him credit for the hard work that it takes to be the best in the world at what you do. Most of us never understand how to perform at that level. I applaud that. But at the same time, we have to really sort of, talk about, the fact that in our culture, in our society right now, ignorance is winning. And the reason ignorance is winning is because we have gotten to a point where we are excessively materialistic. We worship money. We think money forgives all sins. Money excuses everything. So if you're a horrible person, it don't matter if you have money. If you can't read, it don't matter because you got money. If you're doing terrible things to other people and giving nothing back to your community, it doesn't matter because you got money. And kids see that. Kids emulate that. They say, well, you know what? Floyd Mayweather can't read, but that's okay because he got money. So if I do what he does, it won't matter if I can read either because I'll have money. And if I have money, then I'm going to be okay. Well, that's a problem, right? For a couple reasons. Number one, most kids never get a chance to be Floyd Mayweather. Although there are millions of talented young black male athletes in America, we do have something special when it comes to sports. And I don't think it's just because we work our butts off in sports. I mean, yeah, I see the football camps and all that coming up in every neighborhood. But I do believe there's something special about the black male athlete. There is no white version of Shaquille O'Neal. There is no white version of LeBron James. There is no white version of Kobe Bryant. And white kids play sports too. But the fact is that black males have something special about them athletically that leads them to think that sports could be a viable way to make a living. And because we're so marginalized and disenfranchised in the educational system, many of us are tempted to throw away our educational opportunities in exchange for our athletic and entertainment options. The problem with that would be okay if you had as many, professional basketball players as you have doctors and lawyers and entrepreneurs, or if you had as many, rappers with record deals as there are, in other professions. But the fact is that you're really talking about buying a lottery ticket. You're talking about a situation where everybody's you got 1 million people trying to cramp into a room that fits maybe 10. If you look at the highest paid rappers, you look at the Jay-Z's and the Kanye West and guys that make hundreds of thousands of dollars a show, you're talking about 2 or 3 people, maybe 10 people if you want to go down this, maybe 20 people if you go down the list, 20 out of 20 million. So what happens to that other 19,999,980 people who don't get a chance to be the biggest rapper in the game or the biggest athlete in the game, or don't get that chance to be that 1 in a billion that gets to be a Floyd Mayweather? Well, unfortunately, if they don't have education, if they can't read, if they don't have critical thinking skills, they're going to end up marginalized. You start off as a great athlete, everything's going great, you're the best athlete at your high school, maybe all city, all state, you think you're going to go pro, you throw away your educational opportunities, and then on top of that, you maybe if you're real ignorant or if you're real persuaded by peer pressure, maybe you suck in these cultural norms that come with the athletic hip hop culture, smoking weed, messing with a whole bunch of women, making a whole bunch of bad financial choices, and embracing ignorance and doing things that effectively means that once your athletic ability is taken away, once you've gone off to, say, the University of Texas to play football and your career is over, well, if you're not careful, you can end up as a 23, 24, 25-year-old man with no education, no job, maybe an addiction to marijuana, no money in the bank, 2 or 3 babies mamas, a pile of STDs, and all kinds of problems that make you incapable of being anybody's husband or father. Now, I'm not saying that this happens to everybody, but most of us know brothers who fall into that category. And I think that there are some cultural influences that guide them in that direction. I really point to what's kind of happened with hip hop. I think hip hop has really been bastardized. We don't have as many of the Killer Mikes and the Immortal Techniques as much as we have the Lil Waynes and the 2 Chainz is out here that are really promoting ignorance and self-destruction. You don't believe me? Go analyze the music one day. Really listen to the verses and ask yourself, if I'm a young kid and I'm being influenced by these men that I look up to live in a life with a lifestyle similar to the lifestyle that they're promoting on this music, because everybody wants to keep it real. No rapper ever has promoted a lifestyle that they didn't somehow claim that they somehow have experience with or that they're connected to. The only exception might be Rick Ross. He's the only one who's kind of getting away with that. But everybody else, you ask Lil Wayne, are you really a blood? He'll say, yeah, I'm really a blood. If you ask Lil Wayne, have you really killed somebody? He'll say he might not admit it, but he's going to say something to insinuate that, yeah, this is really how he's living. He doesn't say, well, I'm really a middle-class educated white guy or not white guy, but I'm a law-abiding citizen who just pretends to be this way on my music. They don't do that. There's an authenticity that hip-hop has that is promoted, and you see people replicating the messages that are in the music. It's not just something I'm making up. I've interviewed several psychologists, artists, all kinds of people that have triple, quadruple confirmed the fact that this music does have an impact. So what I would say is, and this goes back to Floyd Mayweather and the whole promotion of ignorance and the whole idea that ignorance is winning in our community, it really just says, when you look at Floyd and you see a brother who can't read, you see a guy who probably uses a lot of bravado and a lot of arrogance to cover up that insecurity that he can't read. I think that Floyd is a microcosm and a reflection of millions of other black men who cannot read, who are struggling. I think that the way we kind of respond to this, by kind of saying, you know what, it's never too late for you to learn how to read. It's never too late for you to go back to school. I think that's very important. And I think that we really have to promote the idea of black men spending more time, not as much time, more time developing their minds as we spend developing our bodies. When it comes to developing our bodies, we are experts. We are the most ripped. We are the fastest. We are the strongest. We jump the highest. But when it comes to promoting and elevating your mind, you have to ask yourself, are you using that same intensity to develop yourself as an intellectual man as you are to develop yourself as some athletic animal? And that's a hard habit to break, because of going all the way back to slavery, we were seeing these big black bucks who could, lift things up and throw things and run and jump and all that. And that was our pathway. I mean, even I fell for that. I used to think I was going to go to the NFL. I was captain of my track team. I love basketball. As short as I am, I even thought that maybe I'd have a chance to play basketball, believe it or not. And it wasn't until I got to college that I realized, hey, wait a minute. The same way I excel athletically, the same work ethic that I put in every day to be a great athlete, I can put that into being a great scholar. So literally everything that I learned from sports was translated and flipped into my academics. And what happened was, when I did that, when I had that same attitude, that same hunger, that same drive, that same determination in everything I did, I found that I excelled even more as a scholar than I did as an athlete. In fact, I was the only black man on the planet to get a PhD in finance in the year 2002. I'm not bragging about that. I'm just saying that I never thought that I could do something like that. I never thought that I could compete with the best mathematics students on the planet in my program. In case you're wondering, it's hard to get into a PhD program in finance. I think that a lot of programs, like I got into Columbia, and then Columbia, I think, took 400 applicants for 8 spots. So it's tough. It's really difficult to get in, and it's even more difficult to get out. And so, and what got me through, what carried me, was everything I learned as a black boy playing sports, learning how to work hard, using that mental toughness that many of us naturally have. When you go play basketball as a black man, you have to be mentally tough. You know what I'm talking about, where guys will talk and try to get into your head. You have to be able to deal with that. A lot of people can't do that. That's a type of training. That's something that we have intellectually that other people don't have. When you talk about football practice and those 2-a-day practices when it's 100 degrees outside and memorizing a playbook this thick and going out in front of thousands of people and catching the big pass in the big game in front of everybody in a big situation, all those things would not come together for you if you were not together up here. If you didn't have some gifts intellectually to be able to process that situation and to react in certain ways and to be able to overcome certain psychological setbacks, you wouldn't be able to do that. Without your brain, you can do nothing. The brain is the center of your entire existence. So you can't convince me that a guy like, say, an Allen Iverson is not a genius. They're absolute geniuses. You can't convince me that Floyd Mayweather is not a genius. So when I see a person who is a genius in one area, but is almost a dunce, almost completely behind in another area, all that says to me is that this differential is not due to a lack of ability. It is due to a lack of effort, and it is due to the way you've chosen to invest your ability into the things that you value. It is a reflection of your value system. When you are the best athlete on the football team but the worst student in math class, it says you don't value math. It doesn't mean you can't do it. So what I would just say is that same energy, that same greatness that we see in a Floyd Mayweather, that we put into sports, that we put into boxing and basketball and football and all these other things that white people tell us that we can do, we need to take that same energy into everything. I'm talking about math class, science class, starting your own business, going out here getting money, becoming doctors, lawyers, surgeons. Do you understand? It takes less ability, less energy there's a greater likelihood of becoming a neurosurgeon than it is to become an NBA athlete. And the other thing is that the careers are longer. So, that's my bottom line. That's my spiel on this. I hope I didn't go on too many tangents, and I hope you got my point here. I support Floyd Mayweather. I want to see this brother go and learn how to read. Show up 50 Cent. Go read that Harry Potter book. You ain't got to read Harry Potter. Even I don't read Harry Potter. I mean, whatever. But go in and make yourself an all-around, completely capable man, so that when you get this power that you've been given, all this wealth, this influence, this stature, this visibility, when you get that power, if you're an educated black man, you know exactly what to do with that power. And that's, to give you one last example, that's the difference between two New Orleans rappers I know about. One named Lil Wayne, one named D1. They both got the Louisiana swagger. They both can flow extremely well. They're both incredibly intelligent. Both of these men are actually educated. Both of them have dreadlocks. Both of them have very similar styles. Both of them care about their communities. But you see they use their power in very different ways. And it all comes down to intellectual development and spiritual enlightenment. Who are you as a black man? Who are you as a human being? What do you value as a person? So that's what I just say. Let's use this power for something powerful, as opposed to using it to promote the gluttonous, counterproductive, excessively materialistic, self-destructive mentality that has been fed to us by these big racist corporations that really want to see black men dead. So that's all I want to say. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and Financial Juneteenth. Take care, God bless, and take some time to subscribe if you want to. That way we can stay in touch. I'm gone. Peace.